Hello, everyone. I'm Zach Keese, the host of the newly created Hornet Half Hour, where we're going to talk about what is important to Bryant Public Schools, whether it's faculty, family, students, anything. I'm new to the district, and I'm here to learn everything there is to know about Bryant Public Schools. Our first guest for the first episode is Dr. Karen Walters, the superintendent of Bryant Public Schools. No pressure. So thank you for sitting here with me. And my first question I am going to ask everybody is, what did you have for breakfast?
Well, I actually didn't have anything for breakfast today. I'm on a clear liquid diet today because I get to have that, let's just say I get to have that test tomorrow that people of my age dread that they get to have every 5 years. So I'm starving to death right now as we talk about food.
Yes, and I'm sorry to bring that up, but our first topic that we're ever going to talk about on the podcast is free and reduced lunch and how you can apply for it. The deadline is September 30th, and so we're trying to get the word out to you need to apply if this applies to you. So Dr. Walters, could you tell me why is it so important for Bryant Public Schools?
Well, for our schools, there are several different pots of funding that the district receives based on our free and reduced lunch status. So there is a federal fund, Title I, and there are also some other more minor federal funds that aren't as much based on that, but there is a piece of it that goes into the formula. There's a state fund called Enhanced Student Achievement. We refer to it as ESSA funds, and that is something our state started several years ago that is great because we get funding for every free and reduced lunch student that we have. And with those funds, we are able to do things like we pay for some of our security officers out of those funds. We pay for an extra nurse from those funds. We pay for a lot of interventionists, dyslexia specialists, so many student support things. We have a district social worker that we pay from those funds. So all of our student support, we don't pay for that. We don't pay for classroom teachers with those funds, but the extra things that we can do to support our students. So it is very important to us. We receive about $2 million a year for ESSA funds. So that's very important.
And it goes to a lot of things is what you're saying, not
yes.
just... And so what happens if they don't apply?
So everybody starts this school year with the same lunch status that they ended last year. So if you had a free lunch status that you ended last school year, then you're going to have that. But you're only going to have it for 30 school days if you do not fill out an application. So if I don't fill out my application and I had that status last year, on September 24th is our actual date this year because we started school a little earlier. On September 24th, you would go from having a free lunch status to having the paid lunch status. So it's very important and timely that families get that in as soon as possible. And, the reverse of that can also be a factor. So, maybe you ended the year with reduced or a paid status, and your circumstances for your family could have changed. Maybe your income is not as much as it was. Maybe a new baby came over the summer and you have another person in your family, and so that's going to change what that cutoff is for your income. So we encourage all of our families to do that. Because again, if not, it's not anything that we have control over. And I also think it's important for families because even though I think it's very economical, our prices are kind of, in a way, they're not under our purview. We are told each year if we have to go up on our prices. And $3 for an elementary student and $3.25 for a secondary student is still a good price. You can't eat out for that.
No kidding.
However, if you have several kids and you're paying that each week, that can add up. Mm-hmm. I think we have great school lunches. They're very nutritious. We're trying to give kids options now, even at the elementary level. They have a couple of different options that they can choose from. Junior high and high school have many, many different options they can choose from. I served the first couple of days of school, and I was very surprised at how many different options our high school kids have. So I just think it's important to families, if it's, you know, if this is something that can help not put their family in a financial burden, and they know that their kids are going to get a great meal every day, then I think it's really important for them, and it's also important for the district.
Mm-hmm. And we want to keep those kids nice and fed.
That's absolutely.
You kind of already talked about this, but could you go in more, like, how many people does this funding affect? Like you said, it helps. You pay for the security officers, pays for the little things. What else?
Well, and we don't pay for all of our security officers. So we have 9 security officers, and I believe this year we're paying for 2 of those salaries. So again, our district social worker that we have that works with so many of our families. We have homeless families, unfortunately, and we also have, again, all of our dyslexia therapists. We have interventions at our elementary schools to help with our students who may need some grade level supports that aren't quite where they need to be. We also, like I said, that we pay for a nurse, and it's kind of to have an extra nurse. We probably need to hire about 2 more nurses in our district than what we have. And then I believe we also, let me think, we also are paying for a parent center coordinator that is housed at our parent center that helps our families who might have needs, maybe when their house burns and they're needing clothes, or school starts and they can't afford to buy some of the school supplies that they need. They are a great partner, sometimes even with our business partners. So some of these positions we would not probably be able to have if it weren't for these funds.
Mm-hmm. And it affects a lot of people just by applying for this free and reduced lunch. So Absolutely. Could you tell me, or tell the audience, how can they apply?
So I think they have made it so easy to apply. I think years ago people were concerned that if I fill this out, everybody in the school is going to know, the status of my child, and that's just not the case. There are about 2 or 3 people that have access to that data in our entire district, and they keep that very confidential. So it's not a situation where a lot of people are going to know about that. We do have a paper form that you can request, but the easiest way is go to our website, and you and Devin have done a great job with our Back to School hub of all the things back to school, and on that hub is a button that says meals, and if you click on that button, it gives you all the information about our student lunches. It gives you information. Something we haven't talked about is everybody's eating breakfast for free, thanks to our state legislature. So, but it also has a link that takes you to an online application. And so as a family, I can complete that application online. It's very simple. It does not even require me to upload any supporting documents. I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, I've got to get a copy of my check stub, or I've got to get my W-2. And a lot of us work off of our phones today, and sometimes it's hard to upload those documents, but you do not have to upload any supporting documents. You only fill out the application online. It doesn't make you set up a username or a password. It is very secure and, again, very confidential.
And intuitive.
Yes.
Dr. Walters, there's a lot of benefits besides getting free lunch for your kids when they apply for this, right?
There are. So I can't give you every little program, but I can tell you that we get information from a lot of community organizations and things that sometimes it could be some type of camp or something like that. And if students have a free or reduced status, sometimes those things are free for them. I can also tell you that students who have a free or reduced lunch status receive 4 free ACT test administrations a year.
And those add up.
I
remember those.
And of course, we offer 1 free to all of our 11th graders. We take that each year, but this gives them 3 other times for free. If they have a free or reduced status, they also can get free college applications. And it may not be a lot, but $25, $35 here and there, applying to those colleges adds up. So there are a lot of things like that a lot of times people don't know about, that it is a benefit. Sometimes we've seen scholarships also that have been sent out through our counselors, and that is one of the prerequisites is for students who are on free or reduced lunch status. So there could be more that we don't even know about today, but sometimes there are just different, like I said, programs. Sometimes it's through a community organization, sometimes it's through a different government organization. We've also seen in the past, this was during COVID, as far as getting food for those students that was outside of school when school was shut down. So like I said, you never know what all it will be, but I think it is definitely, I think the benefits are definitely worth the simple task of filling out the application.
No kidding. Like those ACT tests scores, or the test applications and the college applications, I remember stressing out over those, paying for those.
Yes.
Way back when. So that's a really nice benefit.
Yes. Zach, one thing I forgot to mention that we use our ESSA funds for is our after-school tutoring program. We have some of our families that our teachers reach out to that maybe need some extra supports and some extra time. And we try very hard not to pull students out of their class, because students that are needing a little extra help, pulling them out of a class does not help with that. So some of our families choose to take advantage of that before school. Maybe with their work schedules, they're able to drop their kids off before school starts early enough, and we have some teachers that want to do that, and for some it works out better to do the tutoring after school. But all 12 of our schools, the 8 elementary schools, the 4 secondary schools, they will all be offering after-school tutoring, and these funds, the ESSA funds that we receive for our free and reduced students, that is another way that we're able to pay for that. So
that's just another
yes.
benefit to applying
Yes.
for this free and reduced lunch.
Yes.
Man, it checks a lot of boxes.
Checks a lot of boxes, yes. And there's also, it's not something that we're guaranteed, but we write a lot of grants that are competitive grants that you have to complete an application. And I won't say that it's always, an important criteria, but sometimes, an important criteria of that grant is they always want to know what is your free and reduced percentage. And, when our percentage is higher, sometimes we have a better chance or better opportunity at getting some of those grants. And so that is another way that it can help us to get additional funds that may be one-time funds, but those one-time funds sometimes help with a lot of things. I know we received a security grant last year that we've been able to, I think it was about $479,000, I think is what we received. And so we were able to do a lot of, one-time security measures, what I call physical measures, not people, but we were able to do a lot of those things with that grant.
Was it with the bollards? Were those part of that?
That was part of
Okay,
it, yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
So I'm new to the district, and I did notice the high school has an insane amount of choices for food.
They do. So I served, I believe it was on day 1 and 2, and I was absolutely blown away. It puts a lot of mall food courts to shame.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yes, there was an Asian line. There was what I call the home cooking line. There's always a Subway sandwich line. It's not Subway, but you know what I mean. But there's pizza every day. There's hamburgers. There's salads. I mean, they just have so many different options. It's hard for me to understand why anybody would not want to eat in the cafeteria. Like I said, you could eat in there every day and never get tired because you're not going to have to eat the same things every day.
Right,
So.
and that's what I did in high school. I
Yeah.
just eat the same thing every day,
Yes.
got bored.
Yeah.
These students have a crazy amount to choose. I'm very jealous.
Yes, yes, yes. And And I ate some while I was there, and it was very good. Our ladies and gentlemen that work in our cafeterias, they do a wonderful job and care so much about the kids too. So
That's always a plus too.
yes.
Well, the deadline is September 30th, so please apply. It's coming up very quickly. But thank you, Dr. Walters, for being here for the first episode.
Thank you again for having me. I appreciate you doing this, and I hope our families take advantage of it.
Yes, please do.